And we're here again with round 1, match 2. Thomas Smiley has taken a 1-0 lead going into this. Again, I'm here with JT DiMaio, my co-host.
See how this one goes for him?
Yeah, it was an interesting game 1, seeing as at the end he could have tapped with a Tall Magnet and survived a turn. But we'll see if he can avoid making any misplays in game 2.
Maybe he has Norn's Annex on the board.
Norn's Annex on the board
Probably
would
not.
actually stop this deck pretty cold if you can resolve it. But
Yeah, assuming they don't have the Into the Royal, but we're just assuming.
Yeah, assuming.
He's more likely to have it than he actually is to have the Norn's Annex on the board, so...
It's a unique choice against this deck that I think works out pretty well, seeing as no Exarch deck actually has white in it.
It's true. Oh, Halmar Depths again, turn 1. It's the ideal land to hit there.
Be able to look for your combo pieces, put it together nicely in a way that you want.
Even stack your preordains, so you can help you dig. Mixes up a little bit, puts them back.
Pat plays an island for his turn and passes back to Tom.
Tom draws a Spell Pierce. Plays an Arid Mesa.
Passes it back, and then we see, wow, this game's going back and forth very quickly with these land drops.
It's true, not much else going on. Leaving their counter mana up.
More important at this point for Pat to keep up counter mana
And
against that Exarch.
There's a mana leak. So Tom has a mana leak and a Spell Pierce right now.
Build up those counters.
And gets rid of the Arid Mesa.
Also getting rid of another card on top that he had with that Halmar Depths. Maybe he didn't want to see the other two.
Fetch another mountain, taps them both. Seems like it's going to be Pyromancer Ascension here.
I don't see too much other things they can do for 2 red in this deck. That would be other than Pyro.
All
And
right.
yes, it is a Pyro.
No counterspell there. Interesting.
Something you think you'd want to keep off the board.
We'll see if his plan works out.
Tom has a lot of cards in hand at this point. Have some sort of option.
We're going
Doesn't
to
discard.
get some more cards in hand.
Well, I don't think that solves the problem, Benny.
Pays 2 light for the Tezzerets Gambit. Resolves.
So we have 17 for Tom Smiley and 20 for Pat Hill at the moment. There's a lot of cards in hand.
He's got to dig. Seems like he knows what he wants to keep, though.
Well, whenever you have that many cards in hand, it's really hard to make a decision. And Pyro, you want to make sure you have stuff in the graveyard anyway, so discarding might actually be a good idea. And yes, I did just get an instant message in the middle of this recording.
I know you're pretty tempted to answer, but...
A little bit. Yeah, that's a Gambit.
Another Gambit.
That'll should add a counter onto the Pyromancer.
It's true. Interesting that he has not hit the land drop. They're playing the first Gambit.
And there you
There
go.
you go. Getting there. And a
And a
preordain.
preordain. Is there a preordain in the yard already?
I don't think so.
That keeps both on top. So we'll see. A second one? Yeah, apparently. Oh no, it already had 2 counters on it. So,
Okay.
and he's going to Celestial Purge.
Yep. A little late.
Might have wanted to do it in activation to the adding the second counter on.
A lot of cards right there. It's a lot of cards. A preordain of zone. Preordain's flying back and forth.
I guess it's a preordain war going on.
Bottom. Not what you like to see.
And he drew rid of the land.
Seagram Coast. Passes turn.
3 mana open, 4 mana open actually. He has enough to counter if he plays the Splinter Twin.
Another Halmar Depths. I think we saw an Arid Mesa then there.
And a Koth.
Koth of the Hammer.
And he hits the yard.
Denied the Koth.
That's not something you really want to see on the board.
Most definitely not.
Especially against a control matchup. Like in a control
It was
matchup,
a good.
he's very
It was essentially a time walk there. He's tapped out, so Pat may resolve a worm coil.
That could be an issue for Tom if he doesn't have the proper tools to remove that.
We'll see. He's thinking away. What is he gonna do?
And that's a Gataxian Probe.
Probe reveals Day of Judgment, Flash Freeze.
And a Revoke Existence. And I can't make out what that middle card is.
Very interesting. Interesting that he kept the Day of Judgment in for this matchup.
Yeah, the only situation that I think you can bring it up in is if in game 1 we saw they had the Tumble Magnet. With the Tumble Magnet, he taps it down when that Exarch gets equipped with the Splinter Twin.
For sure.
And next turn...
Definitely gets rid of the Splinter Twin. And the,
right at the source.
It's true. Nip that in the bud. I think Tom has just drawn too many cards in this matchup, though.
Well, most of those cards have been counter spells, as we've seen, but he puts one on the bottom. So his hand has a plethora.
He saw something he liked.
As he sits on 9 cards in hand.
But just knowing what's in your opponent's hand is just such a huge advantage.
Especially knowing that you can play around the 2 Day of Judgments now.
You don't have to worry about those. Let's see what Tom fetches. He also tapped his mana, and he's going to play something after. Let's see what he has in mind.
And goes for a mountain.
So that's 3 red and a blue.
4 mana coster. He's looking at the Exarch.
And it's a Call of the Hammer.
He was thinking about that Exarch for a second. You don't want to pull a trigger on that combo too early.
It's true.
Granted that it's tempting that he's tapped out at the moment, but he knows he has the Day of Judgments.
Yeah, almost always you want to get it. You want to get it off on their turn though. The Exarch tap down, whatever they have. So.
And then set up your own combo piece and finish the game, hopefully quickly.
That's what happened to me in a later round.
He ended up getting you with that Deceiver Exarch.
It's true. Game 1. It's very unpleasant.
Well, if you're not prepared for it, it usually can hit you. I know you're prepared for it, but, sometimes you just can't do anything about it.
The 4 toughness is the issue with that. The 4 toughness makes it very hard to remove.
Oh, with your deck, Boros, you can get up that high, but, with him having direct damage spells.
Yeah.
Oh, he goes for a swing of the Worm Coil directly at Tom.
Tom's head.
Leaving the Koth there to just sit.
I think I swing a Koth in that situation.
He's too much of a board presence to leave there. You can let some planeswalkers sit on the board and not worry about them.
With Koth, I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
Especially if it's going to take him out.
Maybe he's not worried about the 3 mountains being only the activation cost. Tom can find more, but it
means he's taking 4 damage here. But again, life total isn't as much of a big deal with this deck because if it wins, it's going to win. No matter what your life total is.
Off at 1, it can go off at 20. It can go off at 40. It can go off at negative with a Persecutor on the board.
It's true.
Happens.
And
Tom
was
going to take
that
one back.
Was going to play something end of turn, but he untapped his Worm Coil.
And Tom will have none of that. Sorry, Mr. Hill.
Yep.
And Tom ponders.
Oh, another swing.
And
the
Deceiver Exarch. We finally see that come out of his hand.
And he goes for a 5. Ooh.
Wrong play.
Ooh.
Wrong color. In the situation, you have your tap Worm Coil. There's a Koth that's about to go ultimate on the board.
Goes for a Day of Judgment.
Not the worst play here. However, I think you wait.
And a Mana Leak to answer it. And that could be the game.
Looks like it. Splinter Twin and a Spell Pierce.
And that's all she wrote.
And Thomas Smiley takes this one.
So I guess it wouldn't have mattered if he had hit Koth.
No, in the end, I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. I mean, because Koth wasn't the win condition there.
It's true, but, I mean, most situations you do want to hit Koth.
Oh, yeah, clearly. Like I said, he's too much of a board presence.
But against this deck, that might not be the worst play. It could be correct to go at him.
You might not be really afraid of
the
those
late game is irrelevant, and, I mean, you really got to get rid of. You got to finish him off as quick as possible before he gets combo pieces together.
Well, I guess we'll end up waiting to see what Deceiver Exarch can do in the main. I believe in Orlando recently they had one in a Rug and a Grixis list.
Yep, 2 in the top 8. Doesn't seem bad.
Well, here at our FNM, we get to see our first look at Splinter Twin and Deceiver Exarch in Pyromancer Ascension, piloted by Thomas Smiley, who takes the win 2-0. This is Pat and JT for round 1, and we are signing out.